Hello, my friends. I hope you're doing well. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. I know I'm a little bit late. I had to get me, I had to get me a little bit of motivation, I guess. It's so funny though. You can go like the whole week, right? And you're okay. You're chugging along. Last week anyway, and the weekend was great, and well as can be expected. And then all of a sudden, you wake up on Monday, you do a whole bunch of things for everyone else. Well, it's for yourself too, of course. It's work. But it's definitely work. And then all of a sudden some little teeny thing just kind of bums you out. And I don't know why I have this awful, awful habit. And I call it a weakness. Maybe it isn't, but maybe it's better if I do it this way instead of lashing. I have this weakness that I feel like a nap can fix everything. Kind of childish, I guess. But it just kind of, I think it can fix everything. I have no rings. Why not? I have very small rings on right now. I feel so naked. Well, I have some beautiful rings on though, so I'm not going to fret too much. But yeah, I sometimes think that, and I don't know where. I think I even saw that on a T-shirt once. A nap can fix everything, and sometimes I feel like that's true. Do you guys feel that way? Because yeah, I was chugging along today, and I will say hello to everyone in the chat in a minute. Thank you so much for joining me. I was chugging along today doing so much production for my business, for my school, for everybody who needs something from me. Then all of a sudden, I get something in the mail that was so disappointing to me. Of course, I'm not going to mention anything on here because I don't play that game. But I get something in the mail that was so disappointed that I spent so much money on. So it really, really brought me down. It especially brought me down because when I conveyed my displeasure, I have still not been addressed. And it's very interesting because when I was purchasing this item, the communication was instantaneous and wonderful and beautiful. And so I understand. I mean, in a way, I kind of understand because I think you really have to get yourself prepared for someone for someone being disappointed in something that was ordered. So, especially if it's very much personal. So I understand that that person may take a little bit of time to, ascertain what's going on, how to convey a communication, and that's really important too. And I'm going to probably address that in another video that I really am going to shoot tonight. I've been talking to you guys lately about doing the A-listers, and I haven't had a chance to do it. Maybe now that I've got my makeup on, I'll do it tonight. But so yeah, I understand that it's very important that you communicate carefully with people, especially your customers, your potential customers, your friends. You're somewhat virtual or real friends, however you want to call it, because I do believe virtual friends are real. But I think it's really, really important that we talked about it last week too, guys, when we talked about attenuation, softening words, and not interjecting when others are speaking to others, or interfering and trying to clarify a situation that they're not addressing to you. Oh my gosh, that's like the biggest irk for me. That is the biggest irk for me. I don't know if I've told you. I think I had something recorded one time and I could not upload it because I totally lost it with this lady at the Salvation Army. God, I miss my Salvation Army and Goodwill, don't y'all? I miss the characters. I miss the clothing. I miss the jewelry. I miss the people that got on my nerves and the ones I loved. I miss them all. But anyway, I remember going to the counter at the Salvation Army, and I think it was the days, because they used to do different kinds of sales. And I think they used to do like 75% off or 50% off everything. And then anything that was $1 or I think $1 or less was not eligible for the discount. So the lady was explaining it to me, the counter person, the checker. And I was like, okay, but this and then some lady from 2 people away decides to yell at me and tell me the policy again in her words, because her words are the best, right? talk about irritated. I did tell her, I'm not speaking to you. And then she got even more irked. And so, yeah, that kind of thing. And I was recording videos, of course, at that time. And I think I had that footage recorded, but I just didn't have the courage to upload it. I don't like to, I don't know, maybe I should have, but I don't really like to upload some controversial moments that are so common at the thrift stores. Do you guys have controversial moments? Let me see what your thoughts are. My head is everywhere right now, guys. I took a nap. Okay, I had to get over my angst and my frustration with this particular buy. Oh my goodness. All right, let me see who's in here. I think I see pretty little Vanessa over there, little icon picture. How are you, Miss Vanessa? Anna, Jen, and Doug. How are you, Doug? And Cindy Dodds. Hi, Miss Dodds. And let me see, Anna Ramirez as well. So, okay, yes, you have, Anna. What have you done? Have you encountered those kinds of things in thrift stores? I mean, I don't know. It's so much easier, and I've learned my lesson since the last time, and I had a recording of that too, but I didn't have the courage to upload it. I've learned my lesson to zip it is sometimes, yeah. I mean, I'm trying. I'm better at it because sometimes really people will get on my nerves and I want to say something so bad, and I keep trying to think, no, it'll get worse. It'll get worse. Hey, Miss Jude, I'm glad you're here. But yeah. So the title was what? Favorite people, favorite music. What did I say? I don't know. The reason I was talking about people is because of what happened and because of what happened recently and all of that and all kinds of chats and things that have been going on here on YouTube. But also not only here on YouTube, because I've been here for a long time and I've met a lot of people that I love and a lot of people that I like and a lot of people I don't like. And a lot of people that other people don't like. And my point is really that I sometimes like people that other people don't like, and I like having them around because I think it makes life interesting. And it's not just with YouTube. I remember I told you we had a dinner club. We had, what else did we have here? Our kids have the play groups when we first met. So we met an array of neighbors. We were all neighbors. We all had 4-year-olds, and someone put a letter in the newsletter. And so we got together and we had a wonderful play group. And it went on for years. And then after that, we had a dinner group. And that just now started to dwindle. I think people have moved and that kind of thing. But there was a couple of people that other people didn't like. And they would say things like, oh, are you going to invite so-and-so? Or, I don't know if she's going to be there. And I was always very disappointed when this particular she was not invited. Because, yeah, she said some crazy things sometimes. And she was always honest. And I just found her to be interesting. And I think, I mean, as long as she didn't say anything that really, racist or argument, of course, nobody wants anybody like that around. But if somebody has a different idea about, this is just one idea that came up, circumcision. You have your idea about circumcision, right? She was of a particular group of people that believed in it. And then this other person was of a particular group that now does not believe in it. So different, or just different things like that. Or child rearing. We all have different ideas about spanking and so forth, right? I think we have different ideas about spanking and discipline and so forth, and, just ways of rearing your children. And so when this particular person was invited to that function that we had the play group every week, and it was at the host's convenience, and the host would make a night. It was so nice. I loved it. It was, I was at home. And so I really loved it because I could bake and, show off my baking skills, and then somebody else could do theirs. And the kids would come over and we'd play for 2 hours, and it was fabulous. And then the dinner thing, well, the adults would play, the women would have it, like a women's night out. So I just loved having her there. I thought she made things interesting. I don't like being around the same boring people. Is that just me? Do you guys feel that way? I don't like being around people that all are cookie cutter, same thoughts, same religion, same color. I don't like that. I mean, that's just the way I am. So I really took umbrage when people would say things like, "No, I'm not going to invite her." I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, she's the most interesting one in the group. Why not?" Hey, Miss Sandy, is Sandy in there? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. So that's kind of just what I was wondering about, and also here on YouTube, because there have been many people on here that have crossed paths, have not crossed paths, but what is it called? Butt heads for whatever reason, women, men, both. I mean, so many. I think I joked with one of my friends, I think Vanessa once, that you literally need a chart to keep track of who has had a spat with who didn't have a spat with this one, who now made up with this one, who used to talk to this one, but that one doesn't no longer talks to that one because this one still talks to this one. It is so crazy. And then again, with the controversial things, it's not that I like controversy or I like spats or anything like that. It really is because I certainly don't like them when they involve me. But I often find certain people to be interesting and funny, and their ideas are interesting and funny, and their lifestyles are interesting, and they're kind in their way to certain people, like we all are. I mean, who is a saint in here? I haven't met one yet. So that's kind of just the way I'm feeling right now, and I'm trying to understand why some people don't share that, and why some people, and I understand that people are also very neutral, and just, you are friends with who you are friends with, and that's fine, and I love that. But I also find it curious how I seem to like having interesting people around me, and I like to trust that person till I no longer trust that person, or if that person embarrassed me, that maybe only I saw it, but I felt it, then I no longer have any use for that person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying I won't forgive, but if you never ask for forgiveness, should you forgive? That's another thing too, and that comes down to family too. If someone never asks for forgiveness for offending you in some way, do you forgive anyway? I think many of the theologians or philosophers say yes. You always chat back. My question is it wrong to ask for help to a faraway country and have a great day? Well, thank you. I don't know. It depends on what kind of help you need. You tend to love to watch the crazy oddball of you tend. Oh, yes, me too. And I'm constantly sticking my foot in my mouth. Unfortunately, I can't stand being uptight people. Okay. Yeah. But even those people, this is why I think a lot of people, I've never actually had one of these, but people who do dinner parties, people that do that kind of thing. I've read of many things from like the parishes and these good life people, and they always talk about inviting interesting people to your groups, to your get-togethers, and not everyone's going to like that person, but I think it keeps things interesting. You forgive, but you don't have very many friends, just your kids and spouse. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm not really talking about drama, because it really shouldn't be like, a big drama or anything like that. For instance, with my group, it was like I'm saying, somebody just didn't like this person's opinion because she let her opinion be known. And she would say, "Oh, well, the statistics say this about this and this about that." And then that person will say, "Well, I don't believe that anymore. I believe that this is a new way of thinking, and this is what I think." And I think that's a good thing. I don't think it should be, brushed off or not heard. Not heard. Maybe that's just the way I am. Just the way I am. And that's the way I am about everything. This is why, excuse me, this is why I cannot stand politics in this chat or any other chats. um, because it gets personal when you go political, because everyone has their heartfelt opinions. They believe in a certain policy. They believe in voting a certain way. And then when you bring politics in, especially if you bring it in with name calling about the particular person that may be in office or trying to be in office, you're not only putting down that person, you're putting the politician or whatever, or the policy, you're putting down half of the group that you're with, because hopefully we do not always think alike. And that is exactly what freedom is, isn't it? To be able to not all think alike. Our lights stay on after, what is it, South Korea? I think the lights go off at 9 o'clock. Streets roll up. Nobody can go. We're kind of like that right now, aren't we? No, that was a bad analogy there. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just, that's why I can't stand when people bring that in, or when they put it in their Facebook. I wish we had two Facebooks. I wish we had a personal Facebook and a political Facebook, and we could separate them, because I can't tell you how many people I've had to shut down or silence. You can silence them, because I just can't stand all their political cartoons and GIFs or whatever they're called. You have a big mouth, Miss. Well, many people do. Many people do. Yeah. But anyway, and then I was also thinking, and along the lines of politics and all of that, the reason I titled it Music is because my husband and I are only 5 years apart, right? But 5 years is a big gap when you are growing up. When you're growing up and you're 10 and your big brother is 15 or your sister is 15 or 16, they're in a whole different stage in life. They're in a whole different mindset, development-wise, and everything. And because we were in our group the other day, in my auction group, and we were talking about these earrings that I brought up, and they look very Spanish, like Spanish architecture. So we started talking about Never Been to Spain, the song. I think I said I'd never been to Spain, but if I had, I think I would see some architecture that looks like these earrings. Believe it or not, that's the kind of stuff we talk about. So then I got on this kick of listening to the old 70s music, and then of course, you get a playlist and you get everything ever done from 60 to 80, right? And those songs, I was telling my husband, because he came in and I was listening to that playlist, which I found on YouTube, but I haven't actually downloaded anything from iTunes. And not only did it have the Three Dog Night, Never Been to Spain, but it had, all of these songs that now that I'm listening to them with these old ears, I see what they're about. And I didn't see that when I was 10 and he was 15 and he was going to the army and he buried his brother who died in Vietnam at the age of 19. It's just very, very strange to me. And that's why I think I have a whole new love for this music now. And I think I even did a video, and I explained the video too, on Janis Joplin and things like that. Because when that music was popular, I was not listening to it. That was even, I think they even had a separate station, right? That's when they had the FM AM station. So I was listening to AM. I was listening to the Archies and, other pop, the Cowsills and what's the other guy? David Cassidy and things like that. I was not listening to, I guess they called it acid rock back then. And I listen to it now and I see it with a whole new perspective, and I understand the lyrics now. I understand the struggle and the fight of the 60s. Everything from the Vietnam War to civil rights were in those beautiful songs that even some I did listen to that were on AM radio, right? Sitting on the dock of the bay and all of these things. And I mean, just so many. And I'm now listening to them. I said, they were just good tunes and wonderful music to dance to and listen to. And here I am, sugar, sugar, exactly, yes. And here I am listening to them now. And then on the playlists here on YouTube, you can even read the lyrics. So, the lyrics like, you're sending us to the moon, but but we can't even come back from Vietnam, basically, or something like that. I mean, just all of these profound lyrics that I am just now, Otis Redding, just now discovering. And I don't know, I guess it's true. You're just never too old to learn something new, to see through different eyes and hear through different ears. And I was telling my husband as he and I were listening, he said, please download some of that music for me on my phone because he just got a smartphone. He's not very tech savvy and whatnot. And I said, well, this is just a YouTube, but I will. And he says, because it takes me back to my brothers and all of this and all of that. And he's not a real music fan. He actually thinks he doesn't like music. He listens to country music and Western music or whatnot in the car, but he doesn't have music blaring like I do in the house. And I guess he realized that it can really influence your mood and influence a lot of things and even bring back memories, even though they may hurt, right? Even though they may hurt and make you cry and maybe even make you laugh. I don't know, but they made me think. And they also made me think of this book that I had just read. It's actually a pretty, I guess it's like a kind of a textbook, coffee table book. I wish I knew the name of it right now. I don't have it. It's in my classroom. But it was about the civil rights chronologically, the civil rights movement chronologically. And it's really wonderful in the preface where she says, and this is where my whole mindset came about the music and listening to it newly and all of that. In the preface, she mentions something like, I was 8 years old or 10 years old. I was a not privileged, but a middle-class white girl. And I knew what was happening. I saw what was happening. I saw the riots on TV. I saw the protests. I saw the hosing of these people the people that needed their freedom. But I just didn't really I didn't see the problem, is what she said. She basically said, I didn't see the problem. And then she wrote this book and she illustrated it chronologically with only 1 or 2 pages per, but so profoundly written, so profoundly illustrated with these photographs, with everything from the very first, bus boycotts and the counter boycotts to Malcolm X and so forth and so on. And her text is just so amazing. I could not put it down. And I've had every one of my kids look at it when they come into my room. Every one of them, I have them read that book because it's just so amazing that it took her adult years to go back and rewrite it, or not revisit it rather, and then write it for today's youth and to make an impact on today's youth, though it is a long ago battle, but we never really stop battling for things that we see that are unjust, right? But I just thought that was very interesting. And that's the only way I could connect the way I feel about listening to old music today. It's like listening to it again. It's still fabulous, wonderful music, profound music. Not only the fact that they were real voices and real instruments, but these were real causes, and I, like I was telling my husband, to me, when I was a little 10-year-old in Catholic school, I would hear about Vietnam every night. I would see it on the news. We had the 3 channels, right? I would see it on the news, and my one of my best friends used to wear a jacket from, I believe it was from Okinawa, that, I thought it was so beautiful. It was embroidered and it's just a beautiful jacket, kind of like an army jacket or a bomber jacket, but satin and whatnot. And she said her brother had sent it to her from Vietnam. And, it was just like, oh, okay, Vietnam. And then a year later, her brother was gone, dead. And it still didn't really sink in until I'm looking at this now as an adult. So I hope we never stop learning and listening and listening to each other and forgiving without being asked, I guess. Forgiving without being asked. I don't know how I went from a bad purchase to this, but that's the way I go when you take a nap. And the nap did help. Well, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. And thank you again to all of you. There's like 40 people in the chat, and I really do appreciate you joining me at these chats in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. Vanessa says, I believe I've been more aware and learned more from years past than I actually lived in the past 10 years. The good thing is we can reflect on it because it's past history. Absolutely. Exactly. Everybody's putting in their favorite lyrics. So many, right? But I wish I could remember the exact songs, but I love the one where it says something about going to the moon. They'll send a man to the moon, can't bring him back, or going off to foreign lands and killing and so forth, and not giving up on freedom. They always help you too, Jen. Yeah, they really do. Because I feel like I don't know if you guys feel that way when you're upset, and upset by anger or just disappointment, like I was, but I actually feel it in my chest. I start feeling like, oh my gosh, why did this happen to me? And the only thing that will calm me down is a nap. It's so crazy. Yeah. Among other things, because I've got everything else going on in my life right now. And then that's the last thing I needed to see. Mm. Gracias, Luz. Gracias. Barbara says. Barbara says, I had to snatch your brother's records because we only had classical. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a scene in a movie like that. I forgot which one it was. But it was an older sister gives a younger brother her records and says, listen to this one and listen to that one as she leaves. I think she's leaving with her boyfriend, eloping or something. She says, it's going to change your life. It's so cute. But music will do that. Yeah, Malcolm X, absolutely. Good old boys who are drinking whiskey. Yeah, most definitely. You only listen to 60s, 70s music, and it makes me so happy and relaxed. Yeah, they can be so deep, and I didn't even realize it till a couple of years ago. And mostly, where? At the Goodwill. Does your Goodwill play oldies? Oh my gosh, I once had some really good footage of a lady, I think probably 20 years older than me, and she was dancing up a storm, and, yeah, I recorded that in one of my videos. It was so cute, but I do the same thing. I start dancing and singing in the aisles of the Goodwill because they play those oldies, and so does my grocery store. Now, I used to love to shop groceries at 11 or 12 at night when nobody's there, so, nobody would see me dancing in the aisles, but, yeah, I would do that and sing too. Let me see who else popped in. Yeah, it's definitely something you have to do, Miss Shirley. Agree to disagree. Most definitely a good policy. And very opinionated. Mhm. Freedom is a privilege. Yes, it is. Yeah, Sandy says it's hard for me to sometimes on channels not to be political, but you have to. And that's fine too. I mean, if it's your channel, you do what you want to do on your channel, right? Most definitely. I'm just saying that on my particular chat right here, or any kind of a video that I do, the one thing that will totally turn me off is a political statement, because and this is not just here. I mean, this is at school too. I've had people make an assumption about my political stance, and I've never had the courage to actually disagree, and I should have. But I don't want to go into a tit for tat. I'll just smile and walk away because I just don't like that. I don't like political talk with strangers. Now, I can sit with my mother or my sister and maybe discuss something if they may bring it up or something, but I'm not going to take it very far. I know when to, just to tap out on that. And maybe if they're asking my opinion, I'll give it. But other than that, just to blanketly state something, no, I don't do that. Yeah. You were born in the 1900-ish, 70s and 80s? Okay, well, that's cool. 80s had some good music too. I just don't know if it was very political, was it? I guess it was. It really was. There was a lot of things going on all the time. There always is. That's what music is. And see, Grateful Dead is really, really ahead of my time back in that time. Um, but I mean, just don't, I'm not familiar with it. But I'm not even really familiar with any like mainstream hit that they may have had. But that's just me. Choose your battles wisely. That's for sure. That's for sure. But yeah, and then like I said here on YouTube too, it's such a fleeting little time that we have together on these videos. I think we should just be gracious with each other and not assume that because someone is confused about something or someone has a question that you can answer it. You should probably wait and see if the host is going to answer those questions, and but that kind of happens when it's a panel discussion as well. But it's neither here nor there. It's just something that it makes it uncomfortable for people to come back to and be faced with that. That's for sure. Hmm. It did? It saved your life. Well, I believe that too. I believe music can save your life many times. Yeah. I used to have a friend who hated old music. I would, I guess we've been friends for a long time. We still are. But I lived in the same city with her a few years ago when I guess it was like the mid 80s and different kind of music was out then. And I was playing the Beatles. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I can't stand old music." And I thought it was interesting that she said, "How can you not like the Beatles? Who doesn't like the Beatles?" And she said, I've never liked old music because it brings me bad memories or memories that I just don't want to think about the past. I don't want to think about who I was with when I heard that song or who broke up with me or whatever, I guess. And she was a total music nut. She would not miss a concert. I went to a lot of concerts with her. So she loved keeping abreast of new music that was out. She knew a lot about guitar licks and loved that guitar music, guitar rock. So, yeah, she never could stand to listen to classic rock. Mhm. So, anyway, I guess I'll wait and see about my purchase and all of that. I would really like for things to be straightened out. It was not any kind of an auction here or anything like that, guys. I've actually left an auction a minute ago that I was so intrigued with, and I'm so glad to get back to it in a little bit. There's so many different ones and new people popping in, and so be sure and check them out. Lots of different people out with their auctions, and I was really intrigued with this particular one. So it's not anything like that. And if it ever were anything like that, I would never blast anyone. I believe you should have a disagreement. If you have a disagreement, you have it in private. If you're upset with anything that's purchased, you do it in private. You do not talk about it in a chat. You do not bring it up in a Facebook group and talk about this video and that video and then just hope someone will chime in and agree with you because it's our time to gossip about somebody. I'm not that kind of person, and I totally disdain those kinds of groups. I usually drop them when I see that kind of talk because there's just no room for that kind of thing. You should definitely take things up personally with that person when you have an issue with anything that's going on because people are just trying to make a living, share their passion. I totally am believing now very much that your passion is first and then your income will follow if you work with something that you really love. Gene Simmons is a 70-year-old wearing makeup and leather. Is he? I don't know. I don't know. My sister met Alice Cooper though, and he was still wearing leather and makeup and had a beautiful wife and children actually. Oh my goodness. True, true. Very good point. SM. Mhm. Shirley, right? I keep saying the wrong name, but I get mixed up sometimes, guys, and then especially when there's no icons on here on some of these. But we've been on 35 minutes. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna see if I can do Alice Cooper's a good man. Oh, I love Alice Cooper. I like some of his songs. I don't know what he's doing now. But I think he was on tour when my sister saw him in an airport. Took a picture with him. You Robin says she dropped talking to a neighbor. She told people I was sick when I wasn't. Not a nice lie to tell at this time. Aw, that's awful. It's awful when that kind of thing happens. I don't know why people do that kind of stuff. I really don't. It's just not cool. Lots of people are very hey, 9 Pound Hammer. Hey, that's a guy you need to go check out, guy. He's got this guy's got some good auctions too. Late at night, not too late at night, but also and late at night or all kinds of. What are your hours for your auctions? I was in another auction a little while ago, and I posted that question because I was hoping to come back and see more of it, but I wanted to come do this show and go back and catch some more auctions. But I'm not kidding. I love auctions. Not kidding. I am not kidding. I love auctions, and I'm looking for monkeys, plush monkeys or beanie babies. If anybody's got any, hit me up. I'm also looking for, and I know Vixen had told me she had one, but when I wrote back to her, she might have not seen my email. I'm also looking for a slave bracelet, but Native American sterling silver turquoise is what I'm on the market for. So yeah, lots of good things to watch there. Oh, I was going to say though, but a lot of people they're on edge right now too. They really are. Like I am. I'm on edge. Really, I needed a nap. I needed a nap just so I wouldn't write another email because I wrote my email. It wasn't responded to. This is what I'm saying. Selling in protocol is very important. It wasn't responded to, so I'm not going to blast her with more emails. I'm going to give her a chance to process, and then she can write back to me. And then if not, well, then I'll write to her tomorrow. Thursday, 8:12 Central, Friday. Oh, you've got some hours posted. Wonderful. I like that. I wish I was that prompt. Well, I am on Facebook, but for my shows, I wish I had more of a schedule and could tell you come in tomorrow and whatever. But I'm going to try to do the A-lister show for you guys because I really do have some tips on selling protocol. Someone asked me about that too the other day in one of my chats outside about, and I guess I'll ask you guys, what are y'all thinking? Y'all can put it in in the comments. Tell me your opinion. Is there such a thing as auction protocol? And of course, 9 Pound Hammer is a professional auctioneer, so he can let us know his opinion too. If you get a chance, come back and put it in the comments, Delden. I'd appreciate it. When someone is like buying everything, I think it's a free for all, don't you? I don't. They've always said there's no friends in auctions, right? There's no such thing as a friend at an auction, right? If I'm going to buy that bracelet and I'm going to buy the ring and I'm going to bid again because I want that other necklace, then that's what I'm going to do. One time we had a silent auction at my school. I was so hurt, and it was my very first year at that particular school because they had done these silent auctions of these big baskets of gifts like around Christmas, and one of them had pots and just really cool things, right? So I went in there and I put my largest bid. I would go $100 on this and $50 on that one, and that was it. Well, everyone's like, oh, Miss Thelma won everything. She bid on it. Well, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? To make money for the school, I got my limit, my budget. If you wanted to go higher, you could have gone higher. And then of course, I think we had like 2 days. So you had those 2 days to go in there and write in your last one. And I didn't even go like at the very last minute. I went like 3 hours before it ended. Someone could have gone in there. I don't know. What do you think? It's all fair in war and love too. In love, war, and auctions. Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's the thing about some of these places, where we've gotten to know each other and we have become friends and all of that. And I keep reminding people of that too. That you're making the auctioneer lose money when you're doing that. That's just not right. It's like the auctioneer wants to get as much as he possibly can, fairly can. He's not going to jip you out of anything. It's an auction. You're looking at it. It's live. You're going to bid as far as you can bid, but don't stop just because you think you've had enough or you don't want to bid against someone else. I mean, that's the way I see it. Because business is business, and auctions, and are over there with business and in love. Exactly. So yeah, that's what somebody asked me. So I didn't get to answer her because it was in the chat and I didn't see it till later. And I'm not seeing these chats, guys, for 2 days later. I don't know why. I don't think I have my stream on the right thing. I think you can adjust the stream to be high definition or not. And I think that's why, because I'm watching other people's lives and an hour or two later, I can see their chat. I don't know, but thanks for popping in, Delton. I appreciate it. The most money for the client. Absolutely. Absolutely. I really do enjoy your auctions. They're a lot of fun. I'm sorry I missed that jewelry. He's been doing jewelry lots, guys, so check them out. I'm going to let y'all go. I hope you enjoyed this little chatter of mine. It's just what runs through my head, what I want to talk to you about here on Heart to Heart. Thinking about songs, thinking about old music, thinking about protocols, thinking about, hey, Miss Anita, thinking about disappointing purchases that I've made. Again, nothing in an auction here, nothing that you would know about or anything like this. It was a totally personal, custom type of piece. And so I went to bed very disappointed. I took a quick little 30-minute nap. I felt better. The pressure on my chest is gone. I'm feeling better. I'm going to go hit up some auctions now or some other chats in there. I hope everyone is well. Stay safe. We're going to be free pretty soon. I believe by May 1st, they're going to start opening some stores here in Texas. So I'm hoping that the Goodwills are part of that because I miss my crazy friends at the Goodwill, my wonderful friends at the Goodwill. They're all part of this wonderful fabric, right? That's what makes life interesting. That's another thing I brought up, that we can't all be the same. That's what makes life so fun. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you very soon.